Hey ladies, today I'm going to be reviewing Get Out. Uh, One thing I thought about when I was going to review this movie, I was thinking it's like if you look at Jordan Peele's movies, you have Get Out, you have Us, and then you have Nope. And, it kind of almost makes you wonder, is that supposed to like mean something? Get Out, Us, Nope? Or whether there's just like the titles he came up with. Found it kind of interesting. And that's why I'm mentioning it. Okay, so the first time I saw this, I was pretty excited. I went to the movie theaters the day that it came out. I watched it. It was one of those movies to where immediately after I saw it, I wanted to watch it a second time, just so I could connect the dots more, so I could, just see where everything kind of like made sense that I didn't catch the first time that I saw it. I don't think I saw it again until like the next weekend, but the second time I saw it, I would almost say that I liked it more just because I knew like more what was going on. The first time you see a movie like this, there's mystery and everything in the so it was, a little scary trying to figure out everything and then the paranoia. I remember this in the trailer for this movie. There were a few things that almost made you feel like this was going to be a supernatural type of movie. I remember in the trailer, there was this like skeleton of almost like a deer. I don't know if it got cut out of the movie, but yeah, and it's like scared him in the trailer, so I guess they cut that out. Um, the movie's basically a guy. He goes to visit his girlfriend of 5 or 6 months family, and they're having this party. Um, and basically, it's like a slave auction. They're like, trying to find the highest bidder for his body. So he fights this family off that's trying to, give his body away. And that's basically the movie. Um, some interesting things about the movie. I kind of knew something was off in the beginning of the movie when the girlfriend Rose, she goes and gets some breakfast and she brings him coffee. When she gets to his door, she knocks on the door with her forehead. I'm like, who in their right mind would do that? And that's when I knew something was off with her. Uh, Meeting her parents. That's, this day and age, like if you're African American, Black American, uh, would you be nervous to meet like a white, if you're dating someone of another race, would you be nervous to meet their parents? I've dated women of other races, and I've never had any fear of meeting their parents, but I'm 6'3.5", 260 pounds. So I mean, not really that. What's gonna really happen to me? But I've never felt nervous to meet anyone's parents. So he was really worried about that. And I just wonder, like, in this day and age, how many people are really going to be too worried about meeting someone's parents? But I guess everyone's different. Uh, so when they're on the way to meet the parents, this deer jumps in front of their car, and they run the deer over. This cop ends up coming. When the cop gets there, they tell him what happened, what and whatnot. the cop asks for her ID. Now, I've seen other people review this, and they've talked about, she didn't want to leave a paper trail. That's why she didn't want Chris to show his ID. And, they wanted to make it seem like she just didn't want like anyone to know he was out there. But his friend already knew he was out there. And, if he comes up missing, the cops stopped him, and they talked to the police either way, so there's a pretty big chance that he would remember. I feel like she didn't want him to. She didn't want him to show his ID or anything, mainly because it was like she wanted to show him that she had his back. And maybe like laws are different, like where they're from versus like where they're at. And she just wanted to show him that he kind of like had her back. Before that scene, actually, though, they talked to the best friend, Rod. And Rod, he was pretty funny in this. There was a scene where he's looking for Chris. And while he's looking for Chris, he goes to the police to let them know that he was missing. And it's a pretty funny scene between him and the cops. So I like Rod's character a lot. He's pretty funny. While they're there at the family's house, this female servant named Georgina. I kind of wonder if Georgina is the grandmother's name or if it's the young lady that they've taken her body. If that's her actual name, pretty sure it's the grandma's name, but you never know. They might want to keep going by the people that they take's body in order to keep up the looks of everything. Because it's like, imagine someone tracks Georgina down, and they start asking questions, and she don't even remember like her real name. Found that kind of interesting. But anyway, so they start talking about this party that's going to go on, I think, the next day. And the servant Georgina, she kind of like zones out when they start talking about the party. I guess the woman that's trapped inside, she knows what's going to happen to Chris. So that was like a nice little clue. I would like to say, we'd all like to say we picked up on like that sort of deal, but I didn't catch it until the second time around. Then what happens? Then shortly after that, the brother gets there. They're doing a really good job of making Chris feel comfortable up until the brother gets there. The brother's wanting to like put him in a headlock. The guy, everybody in the movie is a great actor. The guy that plays the brother, he's really, I love everyone. Georgina is really good. The dad, Rose is great. The friend Rod, even like the smaller characters, like the police officer, she was really good. Just very well acted. Anyway, but yeah, back to the brother. So the brother, he's telling stories. He's got this like crazy look in his eyes. The guy, he's just kind of like really messing up the whole like facade, Felt like that was pretty interesting. So after that's over, Chris, he's having like a flashback of, he's dreaming of like a flashback of like what happened with the deer that they hit. And I guess he needs to, have a smoke. So he goes outside to have a smoke, and the male caretaker that's Chris has only seen, and I don't know, he just kind of looked at him. Come to find out, the guy's a grandfather. But anyway, the guy, he's like doing sprints. Because earlier, this is another thing that, if you really paid attention, you could have caught up on, you would have known. The dad said that the grandfather's claim to fame is losing to Jesse Owens. So the grandfather, since he's in that body, he's still like doing his sprints and everything like that, still working out. And it's kind of creepy. You're like, what's going on? But when you find out it's the grandfather, all the context and everything, it makes sense. I like that they did that. That was pretty interesting. Anyway, so he goes back in the house. The mother of the family, she tells him to like join her. She's in her office, and she kind of like finagles him into letting her hypnotize him. And not even a minute into him getting hypnotized, he's crying. He's talking about his past. I don't know if I'm pretty paranoid. I'm all about my own business. It's kind of hard for me to let people in. So it will be pretty hard for me to let some stranger hypnotize me. And not long into like the hypnotism, she's making me cry. I would have just got up and left. But she puts him into the sunken place. The sunken place, it's a really cool concept. It's scary. I would almost describe it as just being like out in space, But I guess, it's kind of not really like space because you're able to like see what your body is doing, but you're just like floating into like oblivion, floating in space. Really cool concept. I don't think I've seen that in a movie before. And then what happens? So then the next day, they have the party, and everyone's really nice to Chris. There's this one. There's this one part where the dad, he's like talking to everyone, and then he sees Chris is using his camera, right? So Chris is looking at him through the camera, and then the dad sees him, he points, everybody like waves at him. And then Chris just kind of like acts like he's doing something with the camera. It's kind of funny. What else? Then we get the scene where he meets the only black guy that's actually like attending the party. And, the guy's talking kind of funny. You see that he has tattoos and stuff. Chris recognizes him. He believes that he like knows the guy. And that guy, he did a really good job. He's been in a lot of stuff as of late. What happened? So they're talking and everything. And later on, Chris takes a picture of him, and it gets him out of the sunken place. And the guy like comes towards Chris really aggressively, and he's telling him to get out. And when he's telling him to get out, you're thinking, he's just kind of threatening him. But in like all actuality, it's him trying to warn him to leave because, he's going to end up getting his body taken over. Kind of almost like an invasion of the body snatchers. Now that I think about it, it's kind of interesting. So after that, you have this scene where Chris is like really paranoid. He wants to leave. He's talking to Rose about it. She's not really taking him too serious. Then when he's just like, I'm leaving, then she actually wants to leave. What happens after that? So then they go back to the house with the slave auction and everything is over. They have I guess like a host for his body now. And when they go to get inside the house, he just automatically wants to leave. So he wants to, in the scene when they're coming into the house, like the dad, he's smiling. The brother, he's looking kind of menacing, playing this, what is that, like a banjo? And then the mom, she just doesn't even really want to look at like Chris. It's kind of like how they're all like taking in what's like next that they're going to do to the guy, And I found that kind of, pretty interesting. It kind of shows like their character and whatnot. So yeah, they go inside their room. Chris is getting his stuff ready. Rose says she's getting her bag, and she left the door open. I guess it's like the closet or like a little like storage like room. So Chris goes in and he starts to see the pictures of like I guess all her previous boyfriends. They're all black guys. Yeah, one black lady, which is Georgina, and the grandfather, the caretaker as well. So when I first saw that, I was, I had no idea what was going on. I started to think, oh, are they actually gonna like keep him as like some kind of like a slave and like hypnotize him? And then, later on we find out it's through like a brain transplant. So he gets really nervous. He's like rushing out the door. The brother's waiting for him at the door. The dad gives like a creepy speech about fire just needing to breathe and then dying. And then he mentions that the sun, even one day, it will, burn out and die. And at that point, Chris is like, I gotta get the hell out of here. So he goes through the door. The mom, she hypnotizes him again. So then we find that Chris, he's, in like the basement, tied up. They're getting ready to do the transplant on him. And he outsmarts them. In order for him to go under the hypnosis, he has to like hear this teacup, a spoon in the teacup. So he outsmarts him. He puts some cotton in his ears, and then he knocks out the brother, goes to escape, and all that. My favorite part of the final like act was Rose. She's shooting at him, and then the grandfather, he comes and tackles Chris. So after he tackles Chris flashes. He uses his cell phone to flash the grandfather, and then the grandfather, he's back to his normal self. He kills Rose, and then he kills himself. It's really sad. Well, he shoots Rose and he kills himself. It's really sad because it's like, you wonder if he could have gotten like his life back and everything. How long had he been there, etc. Then Rose, she's shot in the stomach. She's laid in the middle of the street. Chris like goes to choke her, and as he's choking her, she starts to smile, and he kind of comes to his senses. And then a cop car shows up. When the cop car shows up, Chris, everybody's assuming, the cops are gonna like screw him over, but it ends up being his friend Rod come to save the day, and then he has a "I told you so" moment. Really good movie. One thing that I noticed that was kind of funny was one scene. Chris, he had like a piece of lint in his hair when he was talking to Georgina, and that was a really good scene. She starts like breaking down and almost kind of coming out of her hypnosis. Anyway, he has like a piece of lint in his hair, and then they show him with the lint. They show her, the lint is gone. When they're driving to the family's house, Chris, one scene, his lips look like really ashy. And then they show Rose, and then they show Chris again, and his lips are all like lubed up. I guess maybe he put the chapstick while they were showing Rose. And then another kind of funny thing was I noticed that the father, they show like the family in these clips. And in one of the clips, the dad, he's wearing these glasses, and the glasses are the same glasses that he's wearing now. But I'm pretty sure in the clip that we see from this video, it's from like at least like 20 years ago, So I found that kind of funny. Anyway, that's about it. That's all I really have to say. I'd really like to see a sequel. I'd give this movie 9 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10. I really liked it. Probably watch it again. I've seen it maybe, I'll say like 5 times at this point. Great movie. I love it. Uh, Pretty sure it did really well at the box office. I didn't look it up since I know it did well. But yeah, we need a sequel. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna do a couple of like videos, not really reviews, pretty soon. Pretty excited about that. And then I want to say maybe like a week before Halloween, I'm gonna give you guys a short movie. So I'm pretty excited about that too. Of course, I'm going to keep reviewing movies, but I want to do other stuff too. You know, I have a YouTube channel. I always have a lot of ideas, so, you know. But anyway, thanks, guys. Have a good one. Or should I say, ladies, have a good one. Over and out.